I will introduce you to an interesting language, programming language. You can call it Wolfram Language. You can do a lot of things with this programming language without really being a programmer, because it has a very strong library of functions, and it has a very simple structures that you work on. So if you want to do a report that requires some authentic data, and you want to plot some diagrams or charts on the screen, you can simply use Wolfram language, and you will produce amazing work in no time. The principle of the language is built around knowledge, so it has a strong back end of artificial intelligence, machine learning that you can use with just using simple natural language questions that you can ask. And you can see later, we'll look at an example finding the GDP of the GCC. I was just asking it in plain English, and you get the results as a list. Then you can plot it using just one command, and you get on the screen to see the GDP of these countries. And you can look at it not only on current at the moment, what is the GDP, but you can look at for the last, say, 20 years or something like that. So you can look at a chart and you compare the result. So it's built around data. It automates most of the work. You don't need to write really programming. You need to think of what you want really to achieve at the end. So you think of the outcome, and then you will find a way to get how you do it. And you will see it's very logical, and you can expect what is the command. You say, okay, I want to do a bar chart. You would expect it start by the word bar chart, and then you can find how to do it easily. It's very coherent in design, and symbolic expression is the core in this language, or using the list, I have to say, is the core. So all data is presented in a list, which can have multi-dimensional list as well. And in terms of integrating it with or deploying it, once you do an application or a program and you want to deploy it, you can easily deploy it into any platform: desktop, cloud, mobile, embedded website. You just get a link, and then easily you can deploy it, create an app of it without any issues. So the language is very strong. It integrates with many things. You can work on Raspberry Pi, for example, IoT applications, machine learning, everything can be easily connected to in this language. If you look at the documentations, you will find many examples, code, everything on everything. You can look at graphic, video, images, geometry, sound, scientific, medical data, computation, and geographic, and also you will find financial data. Everything is there with examples, amazing examples that it's ready to use. Just you change the parameters and you will get the data you wanted to do. There are two ways you can program in this language. One, you can do through the cloud solution if you want, and the other one you can do through the desktop application. The desktop application will require that you subscribe to their service. So they will provide you with the desktop application. For sure, the desktop is more faster to run, and you get many things. If you go anywhere, you will find, if you want to do in the cloud, you get started here. You click on get started, you register for free, and then you can start doing the programming. They have documentation for programmers who already know how to program, or those who are new to the programming. So if you're coming from a language like Python or Java or anything, and you want to learn this language and convert to it, you can easily do that. You will have all the main things here. Like for today, we'll talk about the list. If you click on the list here, you can get examples, and you can see amazing examples there with some more details. There's a video you can watch on the list, and you can get started here, and then you can go and start coding. There's a nice video here. You can code on the cloud, and there's a nice video done by Stephen Wolfram, the person who created this language or led his team to create this language, and it's really inspiring video that I would recommend you look at it when you want to start learning. You click on try for free, you get the cloud version. You need to register again. It's a free service if you want, but then you have paid account if you would like to go for the paid account. And once you register, you can create a new notebook, and you get this is the notebook here, and you start running the command you want to do in this area, and the result will come. For me, I'll be using the desktop, but you can program through the cloud. Leave the cloud is running here, and we can go and do the desktop. So if I click on the desktop, here is my application. We'll just increase the font so you can see it larger, and we'll start now looking at the code. So the language, as I said, very logical. So every command in this language starts by uppercase, and the building block is called list. So if I say list, L uppercase, I get all things related to list, and there's so many things related to the list, as you can see. List. So you put the command first, and you just need to write 2 letters, then you get the command. So the next step you need to do is to open square bracket. Remember, this square bracket again is one of the important things. So the command square bracket, and then I want to create a list. I can put anything inside that list, which I'm putting numbers here. So this one is now the list. I do shift with one finger and enter on the other finger. Okay, so this is executed the command, and you can see I'm getting a number here telling me this is how many times it's executed a command, because I've been using it before. So list, now this is a list created in the memory. Of course, I can this list store it in a variable. Let's say L, for example, L equal, and now this is a list. Anytime I say L and shift enter, I get the data I need. That's how simple it is. Now if I want to plot it, yeah, I can use list, and you'll find one of it here, list plot, and square bracket again, L, close the square bracket, shift enter, you see the plot came. Now maybe I need a line plot, so list line plot. Yeah, there's a command, so I get a nice line plot. It's very simple. I have data, I can plot it. So this data can be a data that I enter myself, or get it from an Excel file, or read it from live website, or I get it from anywhere. And that data I can easily plot this way. I can not only plot it in a line, I can do also, as you expect, I'll do bar chart. So if bar B uppercase, A started coming, yeah, see the second one is there. automatic is there. So I want to do bar chart for L and shift enter. Now I'm getting the same thing came here as a bar chart. Yeah, you know, you're saying a pie chart. Yeah, yes, I can do pie chart. And that's will come and become L and sorry, square bracket. Remember square bracket, and it came there. There is 3D as well, yeah? Pie chart 3D. Okay, L. Came the 3D. Now this image, I can do many things with it. As you can see, it's more interactive. It's not just like those application you do a chart and it's gone. Now this chart is interactive. You can play with it. Of course, you can copy it and put it in a PowerPoint presentation. If you have a PowerPoint presentation somewhere you're preparing and you want to add it there, welcome, it will appear now in this PowerPoint presentation. So you can take it and use it in your presentation easily with no issue. And that's again amazing thing. So you do any research, you want your chart, you just bring it and put it here. Okay, let's go back to our so we have now something called list, and we understand that list is the building block. Now if I come with something called list, come with a variable called f, for example, f list of x plus 2, okay, 5, and x to the power 2. See, this is a list. See, but it's a list that has so many things. I think put x before something. Let's make x now x equal 3, okay, and put f again. Okay, now because x is 3, sorry, I used x. I should not use x because I already have x in the memory because I used it before. Let's use something else. F equal, and we will say list of y plus 2, y to the power 2, and 7. Okay, so this is a list with variables, and do that, it's coming a list with variables. If I change y and make it 2 now, what will change? If nothing will change here, but if I display f again, you will notice something interesting. Let's look at it. Now this is our list, contain how many elements? 1, 2, 3, 4. The first element is y, the second y plus 2, the third y to the power 2, and the fourth one is 7. And here it is. Now when I put y equal to, it went into f and changed the everywhere we have y, it changed it to 2 and did some computational. So it looked at y here, it's 2, so we're getting 2. Y is 2 became 2. 2 plus y, 2 plus 2 became 4. And y is to the power 2, which 2 to the power 2 is 4, became 4. And 7 stays at 7 because it's constant, has no y there. So it does really the computational for you. You don't need to be worried about it. If it's you are in programming in Java or any other language, you will be spending time to change those variables and do some calculation again. But here it will go inside the list and do that calculation for you. There are different ways you can create a list. We have seen we just put a constant values ourselves or put a variable or expression there, and then this can change based on the parameters that we run. Now if y equal 5 again and put f again, so what we're getting? We're getting different data because y became now 5, and then this is 5, this is 2 plus 5, 7, and 2 to the power 5 to the power 2 is 25, and 7, and so on. Now there's another way to create a list, something called range. So range, basically a range. If I say range 100, what I'll get numbers from range 10, sorry, from 1 to 10. If I say 100, I'll get 100. Okay. Other way also, I can say range. I can decide the start and the end. So I want to start from 2 to 10. So it ignored 1. So it becomes starting from 2. So you have two things here, start and end. The third one I have is increment. So I say range from 2 to 20, for example, and I want to move 2 steps. So I put 2 here. What do you think we'll get? We'll get 4, then we'll not get 5. We'll get 2, we will not get 3, we will get 4 because we're jumping by 2. And then we'll not get 5, we'll get 6, we'll not get 7, and jump like. If I make it 3, again, it will be moving that way. You can make it point, and if in a decimal point, 0.3, you will get a larger list by moving by 0.3. And again, if you want to plot it, you can say list line plot and open square bracket, close square bracket, and then it will plot that one. Again, it's still a straight line. So that one way I can create a list. Another way. So one constant. The third one, which is very interesting one, which you will really love and enjoy. I can create list by getting data from Wolfram. For example, I want to get the GDP of the GCC countries. So how you can do that? This is how we do it. You press Control with one finger and equal on the other finger. Your cursor will change like this. And now I can use natural language, human language. So the natural language can be used here to ask questions in plain English. So I'm saying GDP of GCC. Okay? Countries, let's say just GCC. Now these are 6 record of the GDP of the countries. Of course, I can store it in a variable here. I call it GDP equal and shift enter. Now it's stored into the memory. I can do list line plot if I want, and then GDP, and this will now do this one. I think a bar chart will be better. So sorry, bar chart for me, and I say GDP, and what I'm getting here is the bar chart. Interesting, isn't it? I got that with no time, and data coming from Wolfram data. Now, if I want to look at I want to add labels to this. You can see, I don't know who is this one. I know who is, but we need to look at it from the data. So then what we can do, we can ask another question. Control enter. I'll say GCC countries. Okay, and shift enter. Now it will search for me for those 6 countries. And these are our GCC 6 countries. You can see. So you can see Saudi Arabia is this one with higher than United Arab Emirates. But I want to add them here. So what I can do, I can just add a variable here called GCC equal and shift enter. Now they are there. Now when I did the bar chart, notice one thing. I did bar chart now. It came, I pressed enter, Okay, notice one thing, I did square bracket. Now this square bracket is became red. Why? Because it's telling me that you need to close this square bracket somewhere later. It's not closed yet. So what I want to display is JDP. That's what I want. Now if I want to add the label, I can add comma and say chart, and you can see so many things here. There is a style of the chart, there's a label, and there's so many things like legend and other things. So when I click on chart labels, it get this row coming left, and then here I put the label. The label will use GCC, which this variable we have here. And now I close the bracket, and notice as soon as I close it, they became black, all of them, they are ready. Now when I do this, we will get it this way, because the name of the United Arab Emirates is longer, so it coming, we need to make our chart bigger. So this is where it is, and you can see, you can copy this and use it anywhere. So using Wolfram, we just ask questions and we received the data, and then we plotted the data on the screen, and that's it. That's one thing. Now we can also create a list in a different way. Now one way we saw now is we asking Wolfram for the data, and we can plot it. The first one, we create the list ourselves manually by entering it. The third one, we use range. There is one more, is using table. Table will create also a list. And the fifth one, we can read from another website or from Excel file, or comma separated file, or a live website. We'll do this one next time in the next video. But now let's do the table first, and then we can conclude what we're doing. Table is, as you expect, you just write table. When you do that, and with the E, as soon as you do this, you will get the two things coming here. Where is this two things? Yeah. Okay, you notice this one here, like question mark, or you click on it, it gets you into this page, where this page give you explanation how to use the table, and explain so many expressions that you can create the table, and give you some examples here you can try and use so many examples. And if you click on this, it'll get you all the details of the table and how the table works. So the documentation is there to use with examples, with everything. So there's nothing really difficult. So table, and we'll see how we create the table. When you create the table, you need two parameters. One is your variable. We'll say here n, okay, comma, where n, and here we have curly brace to use. It's not the square, it's curly brace, because this is a list that we adding data manually. So we'll say where n equal 1 to 5, and we close. So there are two parts. One is the variable that we have, the other one is the range of that variable, so that n will change from 1 to 5, and then we're closing it. If we do this, we will get something like this. Sorry, I did it in the wrong place, but anyway. So these are the numbers coming. Let's copy this and go back down here, do enter, add it here, I erase it. So that's what it is. But if I change this one, change this one to n plus 2 and do shift enter, see the data now how it changed. n changing from 1 to 5, and the formula we're using is n plus 2. So first time n is 1, 1 plus 2 is 3, so getting 3. Second time n is 2, so n 2 plus 2 will get 4. Third time n is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5, so getting 5. And so on. That's how it is. Now what I can do, I can add an increment here. If I say comma, increment by 0.2. Okay, so I get more numbers. And I can change this one if you want to n to the power 2. And let's see what will come. We'll get this data. So what happened now? It's creating a list for us using a formula, which we have here. This is the formula, n to the power 2. And we give a range for the value of n, starting from 1 to 5, incrementing by 0.25. And then it went and created for me the data that I need. Of course, I can complicate this one. I can say n plus n to the power whatever. And this gets something like this. I can plot it. So let's say list line plot and open, sorry, what is this? Plot, open square bracket, and we close the square bracket here. Clearly we know, because this is red, so you need to close it. And then we do that, we're getting a plot like this. This is plotting a line like that. Now if I change this one and make it, for example, 1, you will get something like this. Yeah. If I don't use line plot, let's use just list plot, I get these points. But if I go with 0.2, I'll get more data, so it becomes closer to each other's. If I put 0.02 here, it will become like a straight line, because so many data I have here, and that's why it's doing it like that. You can change this one, for example, to 3. You start getting all those different. You can use a formula of sine, cosine, any formula. Basically, your formula will be here, or expression will be here. And then the value changing will be here. So that will plot the diagram for you, because table will create a list for you with this data. I think it's enough for now. We can explore more. But before I'm saying enough, but I think there's one example I need to show you, which I think is interesting before we go out of that. Now, if you want to discover a new command, okay, there's a command there, you don't know what it is. I want to get some financial data. I want to see, for example, the price of gold, and I want to plot it on a chart and see how it is. So how I can do that? Price of gold is a financial data, yeah? Let's say financial. I start doing, if I get so many things, and one of it here, I can use financial data. Now financial data is there. How I can use it? What parameters I need to pass to that one? If you click here, again, you will get examples of that. One example is this one, which finding you the price of GE. Let's copy this one and bring it here and say GE. Okay, and let's see what will come from this one. When you run it, it will just go and find you the price. Now, maybe I want to change this one to gold X, yeah? So what the price of gold at the moment? It came 10. Not sure if that's the right one. I can go look for Google. That how it is, Google? Yeah, that's it. I can ask for Apple stock. Anything you put here, you start getting the data that you wanted to have. And if you go again, we'll find the other example. I can plot, for example, this is the one I can do. I can take this one and it will get me what it does. It get me the price of the stock JE from January 2000, year 2000, and plot it using a new command called data list plot. And you run that one, you should get this plot coming here on the screen, which show you that one. You can change anyone here. You can put, for example, again, Google, yeah, that's how it is. And then it will plot for you Google is going up and little bit came here, and this seemed to be some support line. Maybe it will go up again or whatever. So that how it is. So you're getting a live data of a stock from 2010. So any command you need, you just start to figuring out what that command. Either you go through the documentation or you just make a guess. And many times, if you do the right guess, if you do some thinking about your guessing before you guess, you will get closer to what you want to do. So thank you for listening. I hope you find the video useful, and we will do more videos, but there are lots of material on Wolfram language that you can go yourself and explore it. Thank you.